I will also say, just because that comment was directed at me, I'm not tripping and you cannot outlogic me. Um, Financial success and overall success are two very different conversations. So you might be financially in a better position than your peers, but that does not mean that your family is not suffering because of your financial success. That does not mean that your overall happiness is not suffering because of your financial success. And so when I'm talking about balance, I'm talking about overall. I'm not just talking about the money that you're bringing home to your family.
At this, Inez, respectfully, you're tripping. The primary reason I'm where I'm at in my life at my age is because I outwork most of my peers. There's no such thing as balance for successful men.
That's true. You're going to give up one or the other. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
you're
totally agree.
probably going to give up time.
But this is the thing, though. I think
I
when you
totally
are a
agree.
single man, look, if JB just got married, I'm gonna just try to give a
Maybe
little
she
bit
understands.
advice, just a little bit. Um, is when you were single, that should have been your priority and purpose, your drive. But now that you married, there needs to be some shifting. I'm not saying not to work, but if you are married and about to plan to start having a family at some point, your priority needs to become your family. That's all I'm saying.
I will also say, just because that comment was directed at me, I'm not tripping and you cannot outlogic me. Um, Financial success and overall success are two very different conversations. So you might be financially in a better position than your peers, but that does not mean that your family is not suffering because of your financial success. That does not mean that your overall happiness is not suffering because of your financial success. And so when I'm talking about balance, I'm talking about overall. I'm not just talking about the money that you're bringing home to your family.
I will say that women do want a man who is, when it's come in terms of success, usually financially. At least that's what we hear all across the YouTube
Mhm.
streets, and then we'll say that I don't see him enough. So I will say
Yep.
that at least. But yeah,
Yep.
you guys are both right.
Yeah,
And the
we want
issue,
it all, but we can't have it both ways.
It's not
Like,
that you give. It
yeah,
ain't.
we want them to have that drive. We want them to make all of this money, but then it comes at a cost with the time, and then we're upset and we're like, he's never here with the family. I don't get to spend enough time. Like, we can't have it both ways. Either A, that we prioritize the money along with the guy and be okay with not having the time, or allow him to make whatever decisions he would need to make on that end, which means the money may have the potential to suffer, but you get more time. For
so
me,
I'll
at this stage
Or
of my life, I'm okay with foregoing some things, foregoing things over having the time. Like, before we had this, my husband was downstairs playing music. He came upstairs to check on me, and we just danced a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the moments that I can't pay for. If he wasn't here because he's working extra because I want a bigger house or I want more of this or that, I'm going to miss out on the times where we're just dancing or where we're just, you know, talking or making jokes or things like that. And those are the things that I can definitely know and see that I value. I value those things, and so do he.
You know
So,
what though?
just want to
It's
say,
so crazy though, the real fast. I think that is just to the person. Some people are,
mhm.
you have to be around your mate all the time. Like I told you one time, I just need a little bit. It's okay. Do you go to work a
You
little
want a
bit?
whole nother house.
I even bring you some lunch to work. But I think it's just that there it is. You have to find that person who works best for you. And maybe that situation would work best for you, but it may work okay for his wife. So
I
so
will
I,
say this.
I agree with that, Shan. I'll toss it right to you, Marcus, because I just want to get this off. Um, I agree with that, but here's the thing: is like we talk about legacy so freaking much, right? We talk about legacy day in, day out, all the time. But here's the thing: is if you are not a man who is in your household, you cannot, under any circumstances, guarantee that your legacy is going to continue. You are not there to instill your values. You are not there to impart your wisdom. all you are leaving behind is inheritance, right? If you do not have
You
enough
say that's part of
balance,
legacy, though.
it's only part of it, but you can't have the entirety of it.
And hard
If you're
work
not also there.
Hard work is, and let me just
and
say,
dedication to a cause. What are we talking about?
Absolutely.
let
But
me
if
say,
you're
no,
not, hang on,
let
give me 1 second, Shan. I promise. But here's the thing: how many people, right, are out here either in therapy or refusing therapy because their particular parent was not there, right? How much damage does that person do? No matter whether you were out getting resources or not, that parent was not there. That child did not feel love from that parent because that parent was simply not there, right?
Well, then,
You were not
then
an
let's
active parent.
let
Hang
me
on, give me
say
1
this.
second. Let me get this off. I promise. Give me 30 seconds. I will get this off, right? At the end of the day, if you are not there, right? If you are not an active parent, you are not an active partner, all you are doing is bringing in resources. That is it. And yes, that is a part of legacy, but if you are leaving half of it behind by being active, by modeling out what it looks like to be a husband, a father, if you are not there to impart your wisdom, and all of your values, your morals, your ethics onto this kid, like you have no balance at all. One, I don't know any child that's going to actually understand that and not have to process all of that. And two, is that money really worth it? At the end of the day, is that something that you can feel good about yourself, that you gave up some amount of balance to bring in these resources that have worked against you because this child was not actually able to understand, right?
but
That's
but
all I'm saying.
Wait,
So,
hold up. Can I just say one
oh
thing?
no, we got a line here.
We gotta get these likes up though. It's
Yeah,
11 likes and it's 243 people in here. Get them likes up.
but
I
that's
was,
Right.
when
so
the
look,
wife needs
I,
to step
I was
in
next.
as doing her job. She
Yeah.
needs to go and be and explain it to the child why your father's doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's
Fact.
her job.
Let me
I
tell
mean,
you
what
this.
is she
Let me
doing?
tell
She
you
just gonna
this.
sit on her ass
Let me
and
tell
reap
you
the
this.
benefits?
Let me tell you this. No, let me just say this. As a person, and this really happened in my classroom. On the first day, I asked people to tell me about your family. And there was one thing that the three kids who mentioned their father, you know what they said about their fathers? I love my dad because I see how hard he works for our family, how hard he puts in that. These are things, this is real life. This is what they said. They never said any. The three people who talked about their dad, those were the things that they said. It's like, I just see how hard he's working for us, and I respect that out of him. That's what they said. And
Okay.
I'm not lying.
I will say this. I will say this. Prior to my I was a workaholic type of person. Whatever I was gonna do, I was gonna work my hardest, and all I could see is the goal. Like video games, I'm just trying to get the highest score, the most achievements, right? And one of my guys was like, "You gonna go to Miami with me?" And this right before my daughter was born. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll probably be able to go. It'll probably be like 30 days out from the baby." He was like, "All right, cool." The people at the job told me they like, "You're not gonna want to go nowhere when the kids come." I'm like, "Not me. I'm gonna still get out here and live my life." What you mean, bro? You know how we get. Next thing you know, I don't want to go nowhere. I'm with my family as much as I possibly can. I'm stationary as far as I'm concerned because my priorities shift, and you don't know until you know. Like you don't know how much your parents love you until you have kids and you look at your kids. And then you're like, damn, they really do got a lot of love for me. And it's just different. So I can't fault him for feeling that way. He may still be able to
He
remain.
doesn't
So
have children yet. So
when
you
you have
said that
kids,
he
it's
doesn't have
different.
kids, so he's at a different time in his life. So when kids go into play, maybe that's something he'll experience with the children. But at this moment, he doesn't have children.
Yeah.
And that's why I say this is the time for him to go hard. And especially if he has a
Absolutely.
wife that is understanding of that, and maybe she has her own thing going on too. This is the time that they can do that. But I think, like you said, once the children come, that it should be a shift because they
But
need both parents.
we also got to realize we're talking about the average people, though.
Mhm.
Y'all talking about people who's above average. The average
Come on,
person,
JB.
they go.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about average people because I'm not going to lie. For women,
Let me
for
finish. Let me
women,
finish.
a lot of times we are pushing our men to get us things that we want in terms of, I want a house, I want X, Y, and Z. So even if it's an average person, that average person is going to have to put in more work to get more money to get those things for the family.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you talk about being a problem when you spend it. That's what the mother is for. The mother is supposed to be the one reinforcing why the father's doing what he's doing, right? That's what her job is. If not, then what is her job? What
Her
is she
job
doing?
can tell it, but it doesn't replace you.
I
That's the
understand.
thing. I can tell your dad is out working hard for us. You see this house that he got this for us. That feels good, and that's good for me to tell, but it's not going to replace your presence and influence that child needs.
I
You
understand.
are important
I
to
understand
be
that.
there.
But what I'm saying is the quality of time is not going to be there like y'all think. I'm not going to have the opportunity to spend 4 or 5 hours a day with my son or my daughter or my child. You're just not, right?
That's crazy though. Do you hear that? Like if you really just
But now your
It's
divorce
different, though.
situation is making it a
Let me
little
say
bit
this.
more
Let me say this. Let me say this. 8 hours a day, because I got school age kids. I don't know about y'all. 8 hours a day, they're in school. Now, to me, that's too much, but that's the school system, and that's what it is. So 8 hours a day, they're in school. You're sleeping for 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours, right? That's 16 hours already gone. You only got 8 more hours to deal. What are we doing?
Well, that's my point. If you're working your eight, if you're prioritizing your family, the kids are in school 8 hours a day. Typically, the job, your job is kind of around like either that 9 to 5 or 8 to 3, like however that works for you. It's kind of set up around the school system a little bit. So by the time the kids get out of school, you may have 2 hours of work left at 5, let's say at 5 o'clock. Hold on.
If it's
Just
9
hear
to
me out.
5,
Hold on. Just hear me out. So if you're working 8 hours, the kids are in school 8 hours. I know it may not line up exactly, right? You might get out at 5, they may get out at 3, right? So they're in daycare for that time until you're able to get off and pick them up. Then they get home. What I'm trying to say is after you leave your job, you clock in, your hours are from 8 to, 9 to 5.
Let's just find out what the situation is.
At
Maybe we should
5
just figure out
o'clock,
what the
you
situation
need to be headed home, is what I'm saying. You don't need
So-
to be sitting there saying, let me get more billable hours so I can make more money and do these things for my family. What I'm saying is clock out when you're supposed to leave, and then you'll have that time with your family.
So
you can
here's the thing is
not everybody's working that job where they're getting $80,000 to $90,000 without doing no overtime. That's not what people doing. I don't, like I
That
said.
was my
I
point.
think that's how your wife has been
I agree. That was my point.
Okay, well, let me finish now. Our school hours for high school, I'm saying high school and middle school, it goes from 7:45 to 2:30. So now they're out of school from that time on, right? If your kids are in activities, after school activities, it may be another hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, right? So now you run into the 5 o'clock hour. They still have homework to do. They still have their own obligations they have. My son has homework every night. Every night, not even on weekends, he has a book he has to read or some type of report he has to do. Now, I know every school is not like it, but his is, giving him my example. So now he still has to do. So he's going to spend about an hour and a half, 2 hours a night doing homework. So where's that time? I got to eat. Either I'm there helping him, or his mother's helping him, or she's cooking, or I'm cooking. Something's got to be done. And then that's not include for anything that may need to be done around the home that the wife has asked me to do.
But that's time. You're in the house. That's my point. You're not
in the house, but
outside
you're
of
not
the house.
spending time with your
I
child.
see what he's
You're
saying.
just present in the home.
So
There's a difference.
Helping with their homework is being present, though.
Exactly.
I understand, but not all. Let me again. You may not always be the one who could help them with all. What if it's an assignment you just don't know?
Right.
Right.
So
somebody in the family is weak at math. Man, I can't really help him, but I can help him with his English and science and the social studies. But math is my weak subject. So now you're not involved in that, right? So you're not spending the time you should be spending with them.
Because that's why that's where those work hours come in. Because now you can get a tutor for your kid and keep it moving.
But you're not spending time with your kid though.
Like
right?
it's crazy to me.
Less time spending with your kid.
Let's do this.